And good morning, friends. Welcome to Things You Might Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and in the next few minutes, we'll get into the news stories, 8 of them to be exact, that you vetted as conversational, and I pulled out, curated as the better of the conversational ones. We'll go in deeper explanation of how all that works out, but you literally tell us what the rundown is for the show every single morning here, every weekday morning here for the Conversations Projects, Things You Might Have Heard. What we're going to give to you is the latest in politics, pop culture, information, and current events that, like I said, you helped vet to make this happen. You can go to our main website, which is thisisaconversationproject.com, and find more details about the big things we do all day long, all night long. So it saves us less time, saves us more time. We spend less time in the chatter part here. But there will be some chatter towards the middle of the program, and then we do what we call the fun stuff, which makes this more of a morning show and less of just a straight up news update. So we'll get to that in a bit. But as we said, the most important thing are the news stories. So let's get to the news stories for this edition to get you caught up and get you on to your day, or if you watch it a bit later, caught up and on to the rest of your day as well. Today, of course, happens to be Wednesday, May the 31st, 2023. First story on the docket for this morning is this one right here. Headline reads, Canadian wildfire smoke from Nova Scotia could choke skies across Northeast and Mid-Atlantic this week. Now, this is something that popped up literally as I was watching news, preparing for the news yesterday morning, saying, oh yeah, this large cloud of smoke is on its way from Canada. You may see it in New York in a few hours. And that's the case. Fire crews are fighting a wildfire in several areas of Canada, in the province of Nova Scotia specifically, which has so far burned nearly 2,000 acres, with thousands of people being forced to evacuate, and 200 homes and other structures have been damaged so far in the fires. What's big about this is the smoke plume is so large. It is the weather, and the weather at this time of year is just what it is. It's blowing this large cloud of smoke over the United States, and we will see big chunks of it across the Northeast Mid-Atlantic. You can even smell some of the smokes in places such as Cape Cod, Massachusetts, based on the wind patterns, what's going on. Very big phenomenon going on. If you can see it, send us some pictures, send us some insights on it. It's one of those things that it's, you don't believe these things until these things happen. Here's a chance, here's a shot at some of these things happening right here, right now, for us all to see. The next story was the top story for the day, the top getter of engagement. And this is another one of those, I saw it trending, I put it online, I would see what happened. And since I have no idea who this person is, it means very little to me. However, singer DaniLeigh arrested for driving under the influence, hit and run in Miami. Now that does mean something to me because, those types of things are dangerous. But as I say, DaniLeigh, born Danielle Lee Carell, was arrested for a hit and run incident in Miami while allegedly driving under the influence. DaniLeigh hit a motorist on a moped while driving a gray Mercedes-Benz at high speed and continued driving, according to witness reports shared with the police. The motorist sustained non-life-threatening injuries and was transported to a Miami hospital. Police tried to pull over the 28-year-old singer, but she refused to stop. Usually an issue. They found an empty bottle of 1942 Dom Julio tequila in her car. 1942, wow. And she was taken to the hospital to receive medical clearance before being moved to a correctional center. Police arrested DaniLeigh after an argument between her and rapper DaBaby that was heavily publicized on social media. DaniLeigh was charged with 2 counts of simple assault. And now you know who DaniLeigh is. Now it's up to you to decide whether you actually care. This one is one I care about because this is a childhood beef that, just apparently just festers on and on. Coming from the greatest bull from ever play basketball, Scottie Pippen, who says that Michael Jordan was a horrible player and horrible to play with, which the second part I can truly believe. The first part's kind of a From the article from USA Today, Scottie Pippen called Michael Jordan a horrible player, that's his quote, during an appearance on Stacey King's podcast. Pippen said he didn't believe in the sport giving a greatest of all time because it's a team game, so you can't call him the greatest because 5 people are on the court at the same time. No one person is the greatest. Of course, 6-time NBA champion continued to speak on what is likely the playing with his airness, and saying that Jordan's scoring priority wasn't in the documentary that popped up there, the way he, basically had to do everything. He played 3 seasons in Chicago before the Bulls acquired Pippen. He averaged 31.7 points and 5.6 rebounds and 5 assists per game. Of course, they didn't win anything until Pippen got there, so that's sort of why Scottie Pippen is often called, sometimes in jest, sometimes seriously, the greatest bull of all time, because without Pippen, without Robin, Batman didn't get anything done. You can live with what Mr. Pippen's saying or not what Mr. Pippen's saying, but he's saying it, and he has the right to say it, and it is what it is. Also, it is what it is. If you're a fan of WWE, you've noticed a disappearance in one of the popular characters being Alexa Bliss. We now know why she's gone. After losing a chance of winning the Raw Women's Championship many months ago, she disappeared off TV, and no one knew what was going on. Some other things happened and made it feel like there's some weird thing going on in the writing. Well, the writing is on the wall at Alexa Bliss's house because her and her husband, Ryan Cabrera, are expecting their first baby. She says it was a complete surprise. That they just happened. They weren't trying to do anything. In fact, Bliss was working on her career and Cabrera was working on some music. And bam, it happens. Happy to Alexa Bliss and Ryan Cabrera. Right now, Alexa has two food cravings that are sort of doing things right now. It is macaroni and cheese and French fries, which don't sound all that weird because I also love macaroni and cheese and French fries, and I'm far from pregnant. But we shall see how the first baby's coming for the two. Congratulations to the lovely couple and baby as well. Let's see if the baby takes on the music gene or the wrestling gene, or just the cute gene because they're both kind of cute. North Korea says spy satellite launch crashed into the sea. The Japanese have been worried for a few days about the North Koreans launching a spy satellite, which they happened to do. It didn't quite make it into orbit because it crashed into the sea, but they will attempt another one because you don't give up in North Korea. North Korean launch sparked a false alarm in Seoul, where people were told 20 minutes later that the alert had been sent in error. The stakes are high in the Korean peninsula right now. So it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And we don't focus much on North Korea, and they're really, really crazy because of the other crazy going on right now. Ukraine getting a lot of love for the crazy they have going on, and other things going on. China having their issues specifically. So North Korea doing their silly little deals does get kind of left out in the wash of things. Let's not forget, they're still out there. They still have nuclear weapons. They're still starving their people to death, and they're still kind of crazy. And I'm sure I won't hear any backlash from North Korea because if they're not censoring this internet, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're getting this one. This is a story that's a long time coming, and one of the, I guess, a personal bee in my bonnet. And one of the weirder things about the story is the actual story was short. The run up to it, the long run up to it, the very long run up to it, and the days of she's going to jail on Tuesday stories popping up. Tuesday happened. Elizabeth Holmes reports to prison, begins 11-year sentence. And the robot editor gave me 2 lines for this one. There were like 5, 10, 20 different articles at any given time over the weekend about her going to jail and showing up on today or yesterday. What do we have here? Holmes has been out of jail since July, since the jury found her guilty of fraud and conspiracy. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals was denied her request to remain free. Sorry for the bad read. After all that stuff, I can't even read the sentences. Holmes' incarceration marks a stunning fall from grace for the former CEO of Theranos, who raised more than $90 million from investors. Some of those investors and some of those board members, some of those people, really, really big, famous folks with lots of money, and you think would be pretty smart, fell in love with an idea, and with a lady, if you will, pulling an idea that was such a fraud from the beginning. Congratulations. Now, we do feel sad that she is leaving her 2 young children, but nobody really told her to start having children when she knew she was going to prison. That's part of the crazy. Let's move on to the next story. We had to get some Ron DeSantis in today. He's going to Iowa, I believe, today. He's doing some stumping for his campaign. He's officially in Iowa, I think is where he is today. I don't think this is on the docket, but this is something that back home people have to deal with and explain. Fuzzy fuss, say that 3 times fast, after DeSantis law forces Megaplex 2023 furry convention to become 18 plus. What's this all about? Organizers of fandom conventions for furries in Florida have decided to limit its attendance to those 18 and older to comply with the new law. Megaplex, a furry convention in Orlando, is scheduled for September 15th to 17th and caters to subculture of furries. Most furries are not attracted to communities because of a sexual link. Most furries are not attracted to the community because of a sexual kink. Say that again because it just gets weird. Most furries are not attracted to the community because of a sexual kink, but some are. However, there are many members of the LGBTQ communities who identify as furries, if you will, because of the inclusive of the group. People who dress up like animals and are essentially anonymous in their dress and can just kind of be who they want to be. That's kind of what it is. So because of that, it's turning into what may be something of a gay performance. And because of that, Megaplex 2023 will be 18 plus, just to make sure they're, not being subjected to the laws that are keeping kids from going to library book readings where men are dressed like Mrs. Doubtfire, which used to be funny. Now apparently it is not. And finally, woman knocked unconscious but wins chaotic UK race chasing cheese downhill. Let me get that actual chyron there. Now you can read it with me. Woman knocked unconscious but wins chaotic UK race chasing cheese downhill. Every year, there's a rolling of the cheese in the UK. It's a weird thing where somebody takes a big wheel of cheese and rolls it down the hill, and the first person to roll down the hill following the cheese is the winner. One lady literally was knocked unconscious in the roll down the hill, but she was the first one at the bottom to chase a 7-pound wheel of cheese, double Gloucestershire, if you will, and she got the win. And she gets to keep the cheese. It's what they do. It's bingers and mash. It's fish and chips. It's biscuits. It's rolling down the hill for cheese. Let's not roll. Let's get to our teaser story of the day, or tomorrow, if you will. This is a story we could talk about tomorrow. Should you deem it conversational? Should you deem it worthy of getting into talk about? Should you deem this story one that we should really get into, engage in? And so the story for today, or which could be tomorrow, if you will, is this one here. Once I hit the right button. If you're not watching the video, you're not seeing me, make all the button mistakes this morning, which I should not say because it's a good thing. Plus the cough. Al Pacino, 82, is expecting a baby with girlfriend Nora Alfala. Now, we've covered this before. A few months back, we covered this when we found out that Al Pacino's girlfriend was pregnant. Now the baby is coming. I believe it's 8 months old. I have to go deeper into the story, but we can talk about this per your suggestion if you want to chat it up. There could be other stories. In fact, there will be other stories for you to chat up. And you let us know how we do this by going to our feeds. Our feeds are on Facebook and Twitter. Go to facebook.com/this is a conversation project and twitter.com/th_conversation. We're working on a way to let you upvote some stories inside of the website without cluttering the website with all the stories all day. We did that once and it got really, really, really weird. And so we're trying to find a way to gather your information at the website directly in batches to add to the story, add to the conversation, add to the feed count, if you will. But go to our feeds, and as the story pops up, this one is not posted quite yet. This one I think is posted at about 6:30 Central Time, about 25 minutes as I do this. But it's going to post in the morning, and you can see it there. Go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter anytime you check your Facebook and Twitter, and you just tell us what stories are interesting. Engage in them, read them, like them, love them, hate them, share them. The more engagement you give to a story, the better score it gets for engagement. We will choose for tomorrow, being Thursday, the top 15 stories. You get about 30 to 33 stories within a day, a regular day. We'll take the top 15 and pull the top 8 or 8 of them out of there that work into the best narrative. So you get to pick the stories. On Mondays, we take the full weekend, so it's a few more stories to go through. But we'll see what we're talking about tomorrow. Do you want to talk about Al Pacino making funny noises and making funny faces and gooing at the kid and not telling if it's the kid making the noises or the baby or him making noises because they're both really kind of weird? We can do that per you tomorrow. Per you, we need your help. We are always looking for your help. We need your help, and we need your help, and we're going to offer up something for you to help yourself in the process, and that is this link to Zenni Optical. This is a conversationproject.com/ZENNI. This is a conversationproject.com/Zenni to Zenni Optical. How does this help? Well, you see the glasses on my face right now. These glasses, the frames, when I originally bought them, were about $6.95. They may have gone up to $9 now. But I've bought the same frames for over a decade from Zenni Optical. I get new lenses, I get new prescriptions, I just get the same frames. I have similar frames for my sunglasses. They're just different colors, and they cost about the same. I get the same frames, and it saves me money. They are great frames. There's nothing wrong with the frames. I just need new lenses, so I get new glasses. I want new sunglasses, so I get new glasses. And I get them at a very discounted price, so I can have plenty of them, especially in times when I tend to put down glasses and walk away and leave them, because I have somewhere around here other spare glasses, old prescriptions, that are there to find so I don't stumble around the room. You can do the same thing too. You may want to get more stylish glasses. I guess the phone that popped in with a message says you should get more stylish glasses. Listen to the phone. Go to Zenni Optical and get your pair of glasses today for yourself. Men's glasses, women's glasses, children's glasses, blue blocker lens technology, transitions technology, sports goggles, things that will hit in your face and don't break. All sorts of great glasses at Zenni Optical. Go to thisisaconversationproject.com/Zenni. You can go to our sponsors page on our website and see other great sponsors we present here and other places on our websites, on our productions and all. But today, we're putting a spotlight on Zenni. Zenni is one of our longest sponsors that we've had here with us. And yes, we used to have the other glasses place that make you spend a bunch of money so you can send them back. Just buy your glasses for less, and if you don't like them, send them back. They'll send you your money back, just like that. It's Zenni Optical. Quickly, let's talk about us. Let's talk about us. We're going to talk about the Conversation Project. The Conversation Project lives at thisisaconversationproject.com, where you can find the Conversation Project's stuff, like things you might have heard. 5 days a week, we do this live in a video, which you may be watching live here, or the recording lives on the YouTube and the Facebook and the Twitter. We put a podcast out, the audio comes out. It takes a while for the audio to actually populate, believe it or not. So we may have to change the link directly to the service that actually hosts it, because it takes a while for it to get there. We want you to subscribe using one service, but the service that hosts it's weird, so it's just what it is. But you can just listen to me talk and not watch me do funny things and make funny faces. You can also just read the stories by going to our website and clicking the link to subscribe to the newsletter, and the stories are all listed there. All the information is there as well, everything but the one more thing, because it's proprietary to here in the video things. And check out what's going on. On the weekends, we give you the weekly wrap-up, which is top 10 stories. The top 10 stories from the full week, based directly on the numbers, not on me choosing things. And I go deeper into detail in one of those stories to give a little commentary of, hopefully, of a curious nature. Call the story of the week. Talk to us as you want to. Email me at the conversation inbox at gmail.com, or jclevelandpayne@gmail.com. And if you think what we're providing for you is pretty darn good and want other folks to get more of it, go to our partners page at our website and see if there's a way you want to help us out. Also, check out our sponsors, great sponsors. They take good care of you, and we get pennies off the dollar from you spending money with them. Check this all out at thisisaconversationproject.com. With all that said and all that done, it's time to have some fun. Let's go to the fun stuff, and we're going to start off with birthdays for the day, celebrity birthdays for May 31st. And today we're celebrating Clint Eastwood turning 93 years old today. Clint Eastwood has gotten a bit more controversial as his days have gone longer, even though, yeah, Dirty Harry was kind of a controversial thing in the day. But the fact that he's still a very popular actor among all folks, but leans towards the, I guess, RNC type stuff. You've seen him do some weird things, back, 20 years ago when he was on the convention and he was interviewing Obama in the empty chair, things like that. But he's still a very popular producer, actor, and everybody still loves working with him, regardless of what side of the aisle he stands on. And that is a cool thing on that end. DMC of Run DMC, it's Daryl McDaniels, not McDonald's, 59 years old on the day. Happy birthday for him. He's been on doing a lot of the rounds of shows and speaking on mental health. And it's one of those odder things where someone who literally was an icon that I looked up to as a child, you're doing the thing at the time, speaking out on things, in his second, or maybe you call this his third life, if you will. If Reverend Run is doing reality shows, DMC is doing, more things that are more cerebral. So congratulations for doing that. Congratulations for being vocal and surviving your own mental health challenges and hitting 59. It's a milestone. And happy birthday to Brooke Shields, who, no one gets between her and her Jordache jeans. If you remember that one, you're really, really old. 58 years old on the day. Still doing lots of good stuff as well. She's still she's doing more Hallmark type movies, which I guess is what you do when you reach into this stage of life. Before you get to the part where you're like Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda and doing like the same old people shows all the time. But Brooke Shields still getting it done very well at 58 on the day. Today in history, back in the day, it was still the 31st of May, but in 1678, Lady Godiva, she was a freedom rider, rode naked on horseback through the city of Coventry, England. According to the legend, she made the ride as part of a bargain to get her husband, Leofric, Leofric, the Earl of Mercia, to ease taxes on the people of Coventry, England, which is where she rode. That's the legend of Lady Godiva. She was a freedom rider, and then there's Maud. In 1990, the Seinfeld Chronicles premiered on a summer series on NBC, starring Jerry Seinfeld, Jason Alexander, Michael Richards, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. The pilot was aired in the previous July. Renamed just plain Seinfeld, the show lasted for 9 years. The Seinfeld Chronicles wasn't much to talk about. Seinfeld was a lot to talk about, even though the show was literally about nothing. And in 1998, gasps. Ginger Spice, also known as Jerry Harwell, rocked the British entertainment world when she announced she was leaving the Spice Girls, starting the breakup of the Spice Girls. All five went off to do various different things at various different levels of success. Some of them just got married to famous people. Some of them tried to be more pop stars. Some of them just got married to famous people and had babies. But Ginger Spice, Jerry Halliwell, sort of did a thing. Not much of a thing, maybe more overseas, maybe UK, but she did a thing and caused the breakup of the Spice Girls, basically on this day in 1998. Next, we're going to talk about our celebration for the day, and that should say May 31st. It should, but it is May 31st. We're going to celebrate Speak in Complete Sentences Day. Now, this is one because there wasn't really a good food one, to be honest, but this is one that I saw on the list that I thought was pretty interesting. This is a day to celebrate and work very hard at speaking in complete sentences. This is something that as a child I had a hard time doing because I had a serious speech impediment and stuttered really, really hard. It's something that I work hard with my daughter, who has a bit of she was a learning disabled, if you will. She's slow to talk, and because she's 12, tends to speak in the young teen code, which makes no sense. And since I'd like to understand what she's saying, we try to get her to speak in complete sentences and not just grunts and groans and finger gestures, which are always not so great. Speak in Complete Sentences Day is our celebration for the day, so take the time today to celebrate speaking in complete sentences, and don't tease folks who have problems with their diction. Just encourage them to enunciate a bit more. That's it. That's all I'm asking today. Don't tease, but enunciate. There you go. And finally, one more thing you might not have heard. While you might not recall everything your doctor tells you, you're pretty confident you remember most of the information, right? Probably not. A study found that most patients forget about 80% of what their doctors tell them as soon as they leave the clinic, like right at the door. And nearly half the information they say they do remember, they remember wrong. And that is why they've created these things where you go online, they hand you like books of printouts of things to go on out the door, and you go online, you can click on buttons and see the recaps of your actual visits, because otherwise you forget everything. I take like 5-6 different medications. I have no idea what they are. I just take them because I'm told to take them, and then I realize when I go to the doctor, she told me not to take 3 of them. That's exactly how this thing works. And with that, we're going to do the wrap-up thing, because we're done for today. Wrapping up on Wednesday, May the 31st, 2023. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Whether you watched it live via the video, you're watching the video on a replay sometime throughout the day or days in the future, or listen to the audio podcast. Maybe you're even clicking the link from the newsletter to watch or listen to the podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of the community and giving me something to do. You guys keep me not so much employed because it costs us money, but keep me going by allowing me to do this thing, giving me the input I need from the conversations in the feeds, and just the conversation I have via email. Email me at jclevelandpayne@gmail.com. That's my direct email. It's a little spammy and busy, so you'll just get there as you can, or email the show itself at theconversationinbox@gmail.com, so we can do more chatting on stuff. If you want to see some improvements, let me know. You want to see some things not done anymore, let me know. If you have some suggestions or stories, things, or if we're not talking about the story that you wish we talked about, because like I said, we pick 8 of the top 15, so 15 don't even get a shot every day. Let us know, and we'll see what's going on, and we'll try to do our best to make sure there's more prominent, boost them a few times, and throw some things out. Every so often we do pop up, throw in extra stories and throw in things that are important that don't quite make the list because of timing and where the stories go. So that happens as well. We also ask you to stay hydrated and stay limber and stay on task for you and for us. We selfishly want you around. I selfishly need the viewers. but we selfishly want you around. So we need you to be selfish for yourself and do what you can to take care of yourself. I'm working on a reprint of my Rules of Life book popping up. We're trying to get it into a book form, and so things to also help you do things to keep going yourself. We'll start promoting that one. The first one that those is do what you can to not die early, which seems like it's obvious, but then you go eat 3 double cheeseburgers and a large order of fries and Diet Coke, which does not contribute. In the meantime, we've got news stories popping up all day long, all night long, all night. Oh yeah, all night long. It is popping up every 50 minutes on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Follow them and see what we have going on. Engage in the stories, and the more engagement you give the story, better chance we have of talking about it in the next show. So for the Thursday show, we've got 30 hours worth of stuff to go through, and you tell us which of those 30 hours we're going to get to. Just like that. With that, we're done. We'll see you tomorrow doing this thing all over again.